First of all, I like to appreciate everyone that takes their time to, catch up on the pitch side content. Each time you see that content on YouTube, on TikTok, on X, I really appreciate the love where people share, comment, and express themselves basically about what we are talking about. Keep it coming. It's really, really crucial for us because the more you support us, the more the brand grows and the more people get to learn so many things that we actually talk about. Welcome to another edition of the Pitch Side, which is of course a show where we get to talk a lot of sport, but also football in specific, and of course invite quite a number of guests to share opinions about a number of issues. Today's edition of Pitch Side is a special one, I must say, because I have my colleagues in arms, the people that I've been working with in the media industry. I have the pleasure of being joined by, like I say, two people that I've worked with closely in the sports industry. I'll begin with the gentleman on my extreme left, Mr. Nicholas Bamulanzeki, and I'll let him say hello to you before I introduce another person.
Hello viewers of Pitch Side. I'm much delighted to be here to share with you some content that we've cooked today. I'm not used to being this side. I'm used to being behind the camera, not in front of the camera.
Okay, that's thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Nicholas. And the lady in the middle is Aminah Babirye, who you also know, very used to being behind the camera, not in front of the camera. Aminah, it's a pleasure to have you on Pitch Side.
Thank you very much, Peter. This is our debut on the Pitch Side. I mean, I've always been watching it on YouTube, the short clips that you share on Twitter and elsewhere, and I've specifically worked with you, so I know how hard and how much consistency you've held to keep this podcast running. Well done, Peter, and I'm glad to be here today.
All right. Sports across the world is one of the most followed, I should say, religiously. People who go out there to watch sport, any sport that they watch, the teams that they support and all, put in or invest a lot of emotions and time to make sure their teams are performing so well. But have you ever asked yourself what it takes for the people who bring you those videos, who bring you those pictures that you enjoy? Have you ever asked yourself what it takes for those things to be delivered and liked the way you love them? That is why Pitch Side is sitting here today with Nicholas Bamulanzeki and Aminah Babirye to have a discussion and first of all know what it takes, because these two have, they've been in this field, sports journalism. They are journalists, but also sports journalists and photographers. So it's only fair that we have them on the show to break it down for us. I'm going to start with Nicholas, a seasoned photographer, general news, sports. He has done campaigns with top brands in this country. Where does the passion for photography come from for you? Where do you get the love of being a journalist and also being a photographer?
Well, thank you, Peter. Maybe to take you back, when I was still at university, I did mass communication, which is now journalism and communication. I majored in photojournalism. So when I got into the newsroom, I decided to take that route.
To stick to photojournalism?
Yes. But while starting out, I was so much into politics. But because I grew up in a family where sports was like the order of the day, so somehow I found myself also going to the stadium to see what is happening. Slowly got initiated by the legendary Edward Echwaru, because I remember my first time to go to Nambole, I went with the lens that I couldn't actually use down where we sit. I had to go where the fans sit, actually the VIP. That's where I shot from. I took a few images, went back, looked through what he had and what I had.
Completely different things.
Every time I look at what I shot that time and what I'm shooting now, there's been, growth. But I was inspired, mostly in Uganda, inspired by Edward on so many grounds, be it politics, be it sports. I'm all round. I can do anything on any day. So that's why it's easy for me. Today you'll find me shooting politics. Today, the following day you'll find me on the runway shooting fashion and design. The following day you'll find me maybe doing portraits, like studio portraits. I can do anything on any day, but I'm really, really passionate about sports and politics.
Let me get to Aminah. Aminah, of course, being a lady, clearly it was always going to be tough for you to enter this field and leave a mark. Of course, Isma is going to be mentioned here, but okay. How do you start with the love of being a journalist and being with photography?
Thank you very much, Peter. I actually, for this one, wasn't going to mention Isma. I want to go away from from being Ismail's sister now to being Aminah, because Peter, it's been like what, 11, 12 years? Surely I'm beyond being Isma's sister. But yes, unlike Nicholas, I did not do mass communication. However much I wanted to do it, I did not get it. I did something else, library and information science, but I always had the passion for storytelling. And I knew always I did not want to be in front of the camera. I wanted to be behind. So I thought, okay, how am I going to tell my stories? I'll go behind the camera. And how I started out with at Kawowo Sports before I went to the Daily Monitor, and I was a freelance then. I also had a very short lens. I think it was 18 to 55, the kit lens, the basic one that you own when you have just purchased a camera. And even the pictures, I was laughing at Nicholas, but I thought of the pictures I took first. And then I had the trust in the boss, who is Mr. Joseph Owino, still up to now. But I was also inspired by Edward Dechalu. Like, you would look at Edward's pictures and say, wow, can I do that? Can I take that? During the time I was just starting out, Uganda was then doing the qualifiers for the African Cup of Nations, which was held in Gabon. And luckily, I was entrusted by my boss then at Kawo. He sent us to, they were playing in Botswana, sent us to Zimbabwe. They had a friendly, David Disavid and myself. David was writing, I was taking pictures. I had a 70 to 200 millimeter lens. And then after the friendly, we went to Botswana, but they were not playing in the capital city, Gaborone. They were playing in a town by the border called Francistown. I think there Uganda scored 2-1, and then they had to finish it here in Nambole. And he promised, if Uganda finishes it in Nambole and they qualify for the African Cup of Nations, I think I would love to have my people there who have followed them on the journey. So Uganda qualifying for the AFCON was a plus for me, just starting out. And when they actually went there and I went for the African Cup of Nations in Gabon, I saw things were different. I said, okay, it's beautiful here, like sitting by the pitch side. You have the front seat as a sports photographer, surely. There's no way you would just jump out of that. So
up close and personal.
Up close and very personal. So that's how I got in, and I thought I should stay. But unlike Nicholas, I kind of had a smoother ride, because when I returned from the African Cup of Nations in 2017, then I think the clubs that were going to the continent were asked that they must have a media department which comprises of a photographer, a PRO, and then Clive Chaze, who was my colleague then at the Daily Monitor, had already joined KCCA, so he invited me. When I went to KCCA Football Club, everything was there. You're just given the equipment. Remember, they had the 1DX, like that thing is that time. Yes,
it's still famous.
It's still famous though.
Now.
You see, this equipment is personal. That is why when a photographer comes out and says, oh, I was robbed, this was taken from me,
you feel
it's like a pierce straight to the left side. Because let me tell you the truth, it's like maybe someone could even take a small loan to purchase a lens.
Maybe to put it into context, have you seen the lens that Hassan is using?
Yes, Hassan Wamanya.
How much do you think it costs?
It just looks beautiful when I see him using it.
10K.
That's 38 million.
Exactly.
Why are you talking about Hassan? You can talk about yourself, Nicholas. You can talk about your body. You can talk about your lens. I mean, those are two things that are not very...
I've not acquired the beast of a lens like that, but it's a dream that will come true.
Anyways, what is the driving force? Because I've been a sports journalist for about 11-12 years, and I can tell you that it's tough. It's tough to be in there to do extra work and be unique and put out that content. You have to take the photos, you have to edit them, you have to share them. Let me start with you, Aminah. What has been the driving force for you? What's that push? Because you'd have given up, but you have that one thing that you feel this has kept me going for you to be in the industry for all this while.
The driving force for me is family. I have a very supportive family. First of all, I just didn't mention, maybe I missed out, but the first small car camera that I owned was bought for me by my elder sister. Money that I borrowed that I haven't paid back, but I guess that's family. And I said I don't want to mention Ismail's name, but of course I cannot ignore him in all this. And at the core of it, it's my passion for storytelling. Then there's a lot of work, as you mentioned, we put in post-production. Yes, and of course at the end of the day, it comes down to the money bit, because to be honest, we have to take care of ourselves, we have families, we have children to take care of, so it's also not something that we ignore. It's very important.
Okay, Nicholas, Aminah mentions family, which is a very, very important thing. What is your driving factor in this whole thing for you to keep doing content and take pictures?
I would maybe say for me it's the passion that I have for telling stories. I want to be where the action is, and sports photography is unique. You freeze moments, and those moments resonate with people. There's a story in there. For example, the other day when Okero scored that free kick, when he ran towards the corner where we were, and you would see his facial expression. That, to me, when I capture that and I put it out there, I want someone who was not in the field to feel exactly that energy that I felt when I was taking that picture. So basically it's that passion for telling stories. I want to be where the action is, and also freeze those moments and publish them, show them to the world. But still also, like my colleague Aminah said, at the end of the day we also want a return on investment, because you see, for example, if you must get very crystal clear pictures, sharp, you must invest, because some of these cameras that are actually good with sports are very expensive. For example, the body that I have, I'll tell the story. The camera that Odegaard held last season, from
when he was taking a picture
from McFarlane, the Arsenal photographer. That camera, I'd used it I'll tell a short story. We might have digressed from.
Please go ahead.
When I went to Budapest for the World Athletics Championships in 2023, normally at tournaments like those, you'll meet the manufacturers of those cameras, Canon, Nikon. So they will allow you, because you are accredited, they will allow you to borrow and use their top gear. So when I went to Budapest, I got that chance to use. I first of all went to Canon, picked whatever they had used, because I'm not a Canon user. It didn't really sit down well with me. I returned, went to Sony, picked whatever they had as their best in freezing moments, in terms of frames per second. She understands the language. So in the end I had to go back to Nikon. So they gave me that Z9, the beast. I used it. I gave them my cameras to clean, but they told me you can pick them afterwards and use them if you want. I told them you can keep them, I'll pick them when the tournament is done.
I have what to use.
I swear, I came back, I was looking at my cameras as though they were rubbish, because I'd used the top gear.
Best, yeah.
You would freeze moments. I remember taking pictures of Cheptegei on the track, and I was looking, and comparing with what I would have gotten with my ordinary equipment, and I said, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy on. I'm going to go back home and sell all the family property and acquire these ones.
You've probably answered that question, but how has the journey been like? How would you sum up your journey so far? And what are those things you point out and say, this stands out, this was my low moment? Take me through that.
Well, I've not had so many low moments, but you see, the journey hasn't been smooth also. But you see, passion will push you to the limits, and sometimes when it gets hard, you say, because sometimes we prepare actually before we go to the pitch. You look at, say, Getty Images, for example, you do a search, Arsenal versus Man U, and you look at what the photographers produced, and then because you're a photographer, you'll know the angles. You can actually tell the angles and the kind of lenses that some of these guys were using. So at the back of your mind, when you go for a KCCA versus say Vida game, you say, okay, I want to replicate this. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out, but you keep trying. It's one of those journeys where you learn on site every day. You won't say I'm a master of all things, settings and everything. You learn a thing or two every other day. But I've not had so many lows. I've kept the passion running, and where things don't work, I retreat and strike back again. But it's the passion that keeps me going, and the journey has so far been good, because when I look at where I started from and where I am now,
two different things. There's
growth. There's total growth. Like I said, for guys who are out there starting out, if you want to learn, look at the guys that you think are better than you and see what they do better than you do, and don't be shy. Ask them, how do you do this? How do you achieve this? Or the internet can be put to use here. You can put anything. They have so many search engines where you can go and just put whatever you want to know, and boom,
and see whatever you want.
So for me, I would say the journey has been hard, but we thank God we are here.
Okay.
We've persisted through so many things, but
All right, Aminah, your side as well. How would you describe your journey briefly?
For me, I've had my lowest moment was when I had just joined KCCA. Then they were playing in the CAF Champions League, and then we traveled to South Africa, Pretoria. We were going to play Mamelodi Sundowns. By the way, Nicola, I didn't know that cameras have a life also.
Yeah, they do.
KCCA warmed up for about 10 minutes before the ref was like, get back inside. But the whole warm-up was trying to click the thing, and it wasn't coming on. Kickoff starts. We considered in like the 5th minute. I was like, I don't even have a photo yet. I didn't take the team photo, but then PRO for Mamelodi Sundowns, unfortunately, he died in a road accident. Peter, I knew him, Tulani Tuswa. I just went like behind the bench and I started crying. It's like the camera is not coming on, it's not working. So he called a photographer, one of the most senior photographers in South Africa, and he was at the pitch. He said, let me see. And he asked me, where did you keep the camera last night? I said it was in the bag. After we finished the last training, I went and I put it in the bag, but it's just not clicking. It's like, no, first wait. He said, no, wait. It's cold here and you're coming from your country. I'm sure the temperatures are not the same as here. Give it about 20 or 30 minutes. I was like, my goodness, that's the guy is called Lefty. I was like, that is the whole first half. And I won't have a photo. He says, but there's nothing you can do. It is the weather, it's cold, it's the first time you're using this camera in such a weather. What are you going to do? I just sat, I watched on. Luckily, Tulani got me some photos from the other photographers from the first half. But I can't forget.
Did it eventually work?
Yes, and like he said, give it 25 to 30 minutes. He said, oh, come on. But don't put it in the bag again. So I just kept it there. But then I was like, okay, my fingers were freezing. And I said, it's going to now get so cold. It's like, yes, it has to also adapt. So I really did not understand before then that these cameras also have lives. like we do. That was my lowest moment.
But overall?
Overall, I've had very many brilliant, beautiful moments that I always tell myself about, that have kept me going.
I think now we're getting to the interesting part of the interview. Your cameras have taken pictures of so many famous people, so many beautiful moments, so many stories, tears, joy, and all that. Nicholas, what's the importance of branding today in the sports industry? What perspective can you give us for someone out there to understand that today branding in relation to content and photography is a very important thing?
It's quite important for any sports person out there to brand themselves in a way that, you know, resonates with the fans. You have to brand yourself in a way that, you know, commands respect, and also it will have a trickle down effect. The fans themselves will be able to relate with you. It will be easy to relate with you. It will attract sponsorship from everywhere, because what people see on the pitch and how you behave has everything to do. Because we've seen so many talents come and go, and some have actually failed to break out because of, you know, behavior. So behavior and branding go hand in hand. You understand? So and I think when you're well behaved, it's easy for you to listen to what other people are telling you, because we know for a fact that many of the top sports people that we know out there that have made it have had brand managers that tell them, this is what you do when you're in front of the cameras, this is how you answer questions in the press conference, post-match conference, this is how you handle your emotions. So that branding has a lot of things in there. So and these are things that unfortunately many of our players here have missed out, because some of them are taught in the academies. So you've seen people at the age of 17 in the Premier League, and they have a lot of money, but they're still, you know, grounded. You can even step on their toes and go. So to me, I think branding and behavior go really, really hand in hand. So, and when, for example, in terms of content, when a player, for example, has, you know, good pictures of them,
good
videos of them, even when the scouts come,
that's what they start with.
Yeah, that's what they start with. So like I said, if you're intentional and you know what journey you're going to move, it's good that you get people around you that will help you, you know, create content. And sometimes it's even easy. You just create rapport with these photographers and the guys that are in the media. You talk to them. The way you talk to them is the way they will be able to help you. I mean, even for free. So I think as a country we need to go back to the basics, where it has to start from, like academies. At the tender age, we teach our players how to brand themselves, how to create these icons that will be in a 100,000 seater stadium, and they will keep their cool, because Baba Tegese, Baba Deba Tegeke.
Yeah, I mean, you've worked at 2 football clubs. I worked with you at Express, you worked at KCC. Why do you think many of these athletes, I won't say athletes because I want to combine everyone, have struggled to appreciate content creation and embraced things like photography? I mean, they've embraced it, but they've not taken it upon themselves. They just wait for a match day and wait for you to share those pictures, wait for you to share the content, and that's what they pick to share. Why do you think there is less interest in these players? Like
Nicolas said, it's important that the players, the athletes, build a rapport with whoever is available. I mean, it doesn't have to be the club photographer, but of course that is the first person they should go to, maybe to ask. But now there are so many sports photographers, because this is helping them with their, what should I call it, like visibility. I think Nicholas hinted on it. You see, the beautiful thing with this age we are in is that social media is a thing. Social media is a thing. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Once an athlete knows how to use what them and whoever is maybe their brand manager, whoever is managing them, will know how to prepare for what. But I'm more conversant with Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, because that's what was the thing when we were starting out. But now for the players, and when I was still at the clubs, I would advise them, please think about Instagram or Twitter, and they'll ask you, how does it work? And you say, okay, I can help you open up an account, and then for after 1 month or 2 months, or when you have some following and you know how to go around it, you can do it on your own. And most of them welcome the idea, because even if I'm working at the club, I'm not going to follow you everywhere. You've built your fan base. They might want to know, what does this man do when he's not running through people? I mean, what does Okello do when he's not running through people? Okay, he's at home, maybe listening to his music. He can do like a 12-second video.
Okay, like all jobs, there are challenges that people experience and go through. From your perspective and experience, let me start with you, Nicholas. What are some of the challenges in relation to the people you deal with, the brands? What are those challenges that you've had to, that you've needed thick skin to go through and continue doing your job?
Maybe one of the things that really nag me, one of the things that that make me chop wires is the disrespect that that you go through. When someone sees you on the pitch side holding your camera, fans will keep yelling all sorts of insults at you, but sometimes you just shed that off and continue. Because they are people, so you don't expect a lot from them. But at the beginning, it used to really nag me a lot. But also the guys that pick out our content and use it as though it was their own.
I think there you need to really emphasize how it happens, and also guide those people on what they must do. And if you have an example, please.
I'll probably give an example. We are into the age of content creation and short videos and reels and stuff like that. So recently, during the Guinea
Cranes game at Nambole,
I created a very beautiful short clip.
That was a week ago.
Of Mukwala.
Stephen Mukwala,
yes,
plays for Simba, ladies and gentlemen, and Uganda Cranes.
Juggling the ball. It was really amazing. It was a slow motion, well captured. At some point, I thought he had actually seen me, so he went on, and then after that, there's a way he really clipped the ball away, and it was very beautiful. So I shared it on my TikTok. Normally on TikTok, when you share it comes with your watermark. So I got it off my TikTok and shared it on Twitter and tagged him. So when I tagged him, he didn't respond, but a day after, I tried to check if he had maybe hit the like button or retweeted or something.
Or appreciated.
Nothing. After one day, I see him posting it. He just went to my TikTok, picked it. I think he picked the one without the watermark and just put it out there. I felt so bad.
Without credit?
Yeah, without credit. Because we go through a lot to create. Yes, you're the athlete, you're giving me content, but it should be, like I said in the beginning, it should be a give and take. I'm creating something that will be good for your brand. What do I get out of that? I want to tap into your numbers. I don't want your money. I want to tap into your numbers. And who knows, maybe someone out there might see the kind of content I'm able to create and they will give me a gig. That's the relationship that we want to create.
I think also the content managers, some of these players have people who run their accounts
maybe,
and they look out for content.
Yeah, but for a lay person, they won't know that there's someone out there that is running this account. But and for a fact, many of them run those accounts by themselves. That's
especially
a fact.
with TikTok.
Yeah.
That one I can be sure the players are running those accounts by themselves.
It's quite important. It's quite important if you pick content from any of these guys that are always on the pitch. They go through a lot to create that kind of content and at low pay, or many of them actually come to the field to just take because they are passionate about the sport. So it will give someone energy if say a star like Mukwala picks that video puts it on his Twitter and gives credit. That's just enough. I don't need your money. I don't need anything. Just, crediting me for the work that I've done for you. Just that. It's enough. Also, the people that pick pictures that have watermarks.
And
yes. Sometimes, yes, watermarks can be destructive and we can have a long conversation over that. But in the society where we live, where people don't, respect what is not actually rightfully theirs, we ought to put watermarks so that we also, try to, it's a way we are trying to brand ourselves. For example, if someone sees Micah watermark down there, Nicholas Bamulanzeki, they will know Nicholas was at the stadium. And you find someone picking, for example, like the pictures I took of Nambole. Yes. I have not seen any of my colleagues with those pictures. I saw them, everyone used them. Yes, some of them were generous enough to give credit, some didn't give credit but left the watermark. If you leave the watermark, it's okay. But why do you pick something, crop it out, post it as though you are the one who,
it doesn't make sense.
It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot. Sometimes some will you'll go to their inbox and tell them, but you picked my picture, cropped it and reposted it and say, I found it in another group. Okay, if you found it,
still credit it.
Be courteous enough to say picked from or courtesy photo. Simple.
For me, it even hurts more when people using your work without crediting you. Our colleagues. Our colleagues, like, for heaven's sake, you should know it's basic that you did not create this beautiful picture. It belongs to Nicholas, it belongs to John Phil Mugabe, it belongs to Edgar Barron. Be kind enough and just, because you did not take the trouble. That is one of the challenges. And I can tell you, Peter, I mentioned earlier, as someone who has lost equipment before, the crediting bit is very, very important. So the most that you can get, if you're not remunerating this person, because look at the match Nicholas has mentioned was at about 7 p.m. 7 p.m. You're leaving Nambole earliest 9:30, and that is if you just immediately walk out and don't do the post-match press conference.
We arrived there at 2 p.m. because we have to arrive early,
and to prepare,
settle in.
So all these things the people don't take in account. They'll just wait. I want to see Nicholas' pictures at the end of the day, but you're not thinking about this person. How are you going to get home? I mean, you're not living near the stadium. It is a night game. It is not very safe. I always tell my friends whose equipment is stolen, be sure when you lose that equipment, it is from someone you know.
As we conclude this interview, many of these athletes have given the excuse that they fear reaching out to you people. Like, player X, Cranes is playing Ghana at Nambole, and they don't know how they can approach Bamulanzeki or Aminah to shoot for them pictures and interviews.
It's I just want to be clear, just because maybe someone else has chosen to pay and say maybe send me 40 pictures, send me 30 pictures, because let's face it, people are taking almost 600 photos in one match. But the most that you can get, that is called rapport payment. The most that you can get with rapport is like what, 2-3 photos. With the currency you've used is rapport. Like, hey Peter, can you please share some pictures with me? Of course, 2-3 is okay.
Basically, you get a Burunji. Please, players, athletes, let's be organized. Player managers, let's be very organized. Stop taking people's content. Give them credit and pay them, especially pro players. Mwabazanya pro. Let's behave. Pay people. Me, I'll speak on their behalf. Tebagala kuganiriza nja kuogira.
Peter, actually made nyo kubompira. Aba sports banji. Yes, waliyo banji. Cricket, you can talk about rugby. Banji. Sabobo kana ye ranga chengambye. Ensasula eya tebaleko gamba chi. Fana nyabyo at most ennyo. Bisatu oba omuntu nga mumanyiganye for a long time ajagamba akamuweyo ebitaano kamuweyo omusanvu.
Nicholas,
I might even tell a very beautiful story. Akuwa biri basic.
Actually, personally, I wouldn't have a problem with sharing because, for example, in a game like, say, the one we had in Nambole, I can go back home with 1,000 pictures. So what do I use all those pictures for? But it depends on how you approach me and the kind of, friendship because I've done it with so many players, and they are just my colleagues. Once in a while, after the game, like you're there and someone just sends you a, hey, where is I am after? You say, hey, okay, out of their own will.
Yeah.
But I've not charged them for, but because they asked in a very, very, civil way for the pictures, it's easy to share, because what is the point of keeping them, yet you're not going to use them, and then someone needs them, but they are going to credit you. You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Because I've dealt with the likes of Emma Okwi, Tadeo Rwanga, always prompt. They will credit you. They will come to your inbox with that much respect,
And I think for those two, I've also shared some pictures of theirs with them. They know. They are two of the many players that appreciate how important it is to have quality work shared for
they will
their
even
fans.
reach out, like, to just say hello to you. Imagine, we are not at the pitch, but someone, sends you a DM on your X account. Hey, Nicholas, how are you? Hey, thank you for the job well done the other time. Simple. That is rapport created.
You guys have done this job for a very, very long time now, and there are young, sports photojournalists that are looking up to you, and they want to learn one or two things on how they can actually be your level or reach your level. Nicholas, I'll start with you. For the young guys who want to do sports photojournalism, what is your advice to them, and what do you think they need to do better?
Thank you, Peter. It's interesting, but importantly, equipment is key, because it's the major tool that we use to capture these moments. Yes, newobo ina ideas empitirivu mutwego, you won't capture them with your eyes. They will just keep in your imagination. But you have to acquire equipment. Yes, it is not easy while you start out. You may need to borrow from your colleagues. Mpola mpola ogenda wezimba until you get the equipment that you want. Even me at this level, I've not reached the peak where I want to be with in terms of equipment, but it's a process. Allow yourself grow mpola mpola, you'll get there. Also, you need to be hydrated, because for example, if you're covering track and field, you run here, people are doing javelin, you run back, people are doing 100 meters, you run back, and you need to cover everything. So at the end of the day, you need to keep as hydrated as possible. Maybe another thing, behavior is key. Empisa. Engeri gye tweyisaamu nga tuli ne bannaffe, engeri gye tweyisaamu in front of these athletes, they're emotional, like my sister said. You don't want to be at loggerheads with these athletes, because at the end of it all, you won't get what you want from them. Let's try to portray them in a more presentable way, as content creators and photojournalists.
Thank you very much, Nicholas, for that guidance to the young photographers coming up. Aminah, you can add quite a number on that as well.
First of all, comparison is a killer. Don't try to compare yourself or your work to Nicholas. You can be inspired by him, look at his work, that is okay. But you wanting to be like him, it's not going to happen overnight. Yet you can even be better than him. You can be better than all the people that you have, whose work you have been following. The other second thing is follow rules. At these facilities that we go to, if it's at a golf course, usually they have a whole list of rules at their receptions of the clubhouses, the basics which they know that even if someone is just stepping into this place for the first time, at least for these ones they must know. Something with a football pitch, a football facility, I'm not supposed to walk here, I'm not supposed to go this side, photographers behind the goal and where behind the goal. So that's it. And also I'll just add another one, preparation. The night before, you know what you're going to do the next day. Are all your batteries charged? Are your cards formatted? Do you have your cables for some of us that are still using
your power bank,
the old DSLRs? Do you have your card readers? If your laptop is not reading, do you have all your cables? Prepare.
Maybe to add a thing,
Please
what
go
you
ahead.
said in terms of rules. Yes, you may choose not to adhere to the rules, but the consequences might be dire.
Yes.
One of the things that could happen to you is they can cancel your accreditation if they find you in a place where you're not supposed to be. And for example, if it's a tournament and it's day one, your tournament is done. Your plans are messed up. Then two, if you're the other side of the golf course, the ball might hit you and you lose an eye, or it may injure you badly. So let's try to know the rules, know a thing or two about the sport you're going to cover. What are the do's and the don'ts? Yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
Okay. Anyways, very good advice from Nicholas Bamulanzeki and Aminah Babirye to the upcoming or young sports photographers and journalists out there as well. Any last words, Nicholas? Parting shots?
I take this opportunity to thank the Observer for giving me a platform, that I've used to showcase what I can do, and all other people that have supported me through this. I've learned a few things from so many people, the likes of Edward Echwaru. Learning never stops, so don't close yourself out. Keep learning. Learning never stops. And the people that have supported my brand, Mukola Chaman, because I remember when my friend Nelly put out that tweet, I actually put out a tweet saying, if I ever get this camera, oh my god, Zenja kuba maze. And the next thing I see, Nelly putting out a tweet, hey, this guy has done this and that and that.
I did not see your tweet, I saw Nelly's.
Yeah, no, I just put it out innocently, and Nelly quoted it and said, guys, this camera costs say it was $5,500. Say if each of us contributes this much, we can get it for him to appreciate the work he has done. Just the thought of that really touched me, and I am forever grateful that after just 3 months that dream came true. I got a Z9 for myself, a camera that I was just dreaming of.
And also because, Nicholas, let's face it honestly, you're a nice person. You deserve it. I don't think anyone can just wake up and post that. I mean, that's guts. But because you have created an impact on very many different people, and because you're humble, you're a very nice person, you're one of the people that anyone in this field can relate with.
Twenza nyo Nicholas Bamulanzeki. Aminah Babirye, for you, your sign out is special. You're a lady on this set. There are so many young ladies out there that have looked up to you, and they probably want to also do photojournalism. Maybe sign out by, first of all, guiding them, telling them the do's and don'ts and the experience, how it will probably be, and then also appreciate people who have been there for you.
First of all, for the ladies, any lady out there, it's very important that whatever career path you have chosen, it's important to speak up. Don't just keep quiet and say, oh, because I'm a lady. Because if you don't, you're going to, in the end, tolerate a lot of disrespect, and that will be the path that you have chosen. Ngamaliriza njagala okutwala omukisa guno okwebaliza ddala abantu be tunayita aba major stakeholders. Those are the athletes. Abasambi b'omupiira, ab'abaddusi, ab'aba netball, ab'aba rugby, ab'aba basketball, oba cricket, mwena tubebaza nnyo. It's because of you, and that you wake up every morning.
Actually put their bodies on the line.
Put your bodies on the line to give us something to capture. Because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't even have anything to talk about. Mu bantu abanyambyeko mu career no sokera ddala yali mukama wange Mark Namanya ku Daily Monitor, Joseph Owino ku Kawowo, Ahmed Hussein Masha ku Fufa, mukulu wange Gwempe erinnya lya Kigongo, Ismail Dakaba Kigongo, abasajja abalala babiri. Omu atudde wano ku mukono gwange ogwa right, Mr. Tabu Peter, for the opportunity you gave me to join you when you had the chance to build a communications department at Express Football Club. I'll always be grateful to you. And another chaotic man, Clive Chazi, now of CK Sports. Mwisizewa kalango oba?
Clive Buga, izo kunzita.
Clive Chazi, and I've always been grateful to the two of you. At least mwababiri mukimanyi bali abaana betose nyiza okubanga sikibagamba nnyo naye mwababiri mbeera nkola ki mbeera mbagamba mpozi nja n'omukyalo omulala omu ashaka omugisha
ate omulongo
oyo ntambula naye wano ku mutima nja mwebaza nga amaze okulaba akatambi kano naye nakato nawe webale nnyo kumbeererawo.
Guys, we've had the privilege of talking to two experienced journalists and photojournalists in Nicholas Bamulanzeki and Aminah Babirye. They've given us their time. We've talked about the importance of branding, but also the challenges and the advantages of sports journalism. So I hope you pick one or two things in there. Like always keep it pitch side. Cheers.